keep striving for this religion that we preach. Keep pushing for nothing's ever out of reach. Because the time we keep on driving, it's all that much we go. The time we keep on fighting, and these colors I wear will be sold through the skins of my soul.
Right, and welcome to another probably very short edition of the Luton Town International Podcast, because we basically got a defeat in the Spectre of Villa to talk about. Gav, we were never going to get anything from that, were we?
No, we weren't. Unfortunately, the worst part of it was, like I've seen a lot of people say on social media as well, it was probably our worst performance of the season. It's weird because every game up till now, while there's always going to be a gulf in class, we've always looked like we're up for it. We went into it like, yes, you may be better than us skillfully on that level, but you're not going to outfight us. I think Villa on Sunday, to me, it looked like they were strolling in the park. It looked like if that game had instead 1-0 and it was 20 minutes to go and Luton scored, I think Villa could have kicked it into another gear and still won 3-1. That's the way it looked to me.
Okay, I mean, we're going to address the elephant in the room before we start. The Villa looking cap. What is up with that?
Colorado Avalanche.
Did he really not think that was?
So we didn't even notice this until I didn't notice it until I sat here and you went, "You're wearing a Villa colored fucking hat." I'm like, "Oh shit, I am," but my hair's a mess, so I'm wearing the hat.
Yeah, and I mean, on the Villa game, I'm thinking, okay, I wouldn't say it's exact. Well, I don't know what the worst performance is, but I mean, I think it was basically, if you look at Villa's results, I mean, they got 4-1 or 4-2 versus West Ham, 6-1 versus Brighton. Both teams have beaten us. We actually did keep the score down. I think Rob Edwards made the point, goes, right, I know people want us to go gung ho, but there's no point going home and being 3-0 down after 20 minutes. And I think you've got to get that, because the way we finish games, it's even bizarrely, we'll get to the other goals in a second. At 3-1, we could have somehow nicked a completely undeserved point. If Mengi puts his header in, and that's a very presentable chance, and then it's just a scram in the box, it could have happened. Well, obviously, it didn't, we weren't expected to, and it said it would have been daylight robbery, but there's a possibility.
I'll say the exact same thing I said to you Saturday when you put that in the group text. I'll have whatever you're having. Whatever beer you're on lately, it's fucking working, dude. Keep that shit up. Again, like as I said, if that game had got close at all, I think Villa could have kicked it up another gear, and I think it could have been even worse. Now, here's the thing, and I don't know whether this is why Emery did it, but Emery's known as a very tactical coach and a very, very much a technician, and he picks out the little things, and then he tries to fix that. Now, in that whole game, as has been for most of the season for Luton so far, since the combination has come together, our biggest threats came down the left-hand side of Ogbene and Doughty. And Doughty was fantastic. He really.
I don't think Dowd had a very good game by his standards.
I thought Doughty, at least going forward, was very, very good. I don't think
if you look at the chance that came for Villa, they were down his side mainly.
Yeah, but here's the thing: like, would Ryan Jaws have done any better? Probably not. You know, and how many fit defenders do we have right now? Like he's playing left back or left wing back beside Mengi, who has now started 3 Premier League games in his career. You know, it's a difficult situation for Doughty, and Doughty hasn't played that many Premier League games either. But
none of the squad have. But I mean, I think on the defence, you said how many fit defenders? I reckon 4 fit defenders, and we started with 5.
Yeah, like I got fair play to Osho for even playing 60 minutes of that game, because I mean he's played 1 reserve team fixture since the playoff final, and somehow managed to get through 60 minutes. It was. But the reason why I say the Unai Emery thing is because in that first half, I think when we did get forward, it came down the left and it came down Doughty and Ogbene. And then you look at the change that Villa made at half time, and he brought on Bailey, and he put Bailey on the right-hand side. Now, maybe this is the optimist in me talking, but I think he put Bailey on that right-hand side to try to pin back Doughty a little bit more, because he knew Doughty was giving them problems going forward. Could have been something completely different, but that's the way, like, when Bailey came on, Doughty didn't go forward as much. Couldn't get forward as much, because Bailey was giving them more problems on the right-hand side.
And obviously, with Benny, he's got the pace, but I mean, the pace, there's Premiership players who've got pace, not to the same extent, but he's not going to leave them for dead completely unless you get that perfect ball.
Mm-hmm.
Which is going to go through. I mean, as I said, basically attacking, they were getting a lot of joy down Doughty's flank. I said, I don't think he had the best game. It wasn't a bad game, but I mean, obviously, he's still against Gipsy level. And it was, I still think, put more trust in him than sort of, the other side, Kabore. Who I think he got some good rating. To me, Kabore looked like a walking red card.
Yeah, and that right hand side's a problem right now. And I actually wanted to talk to you about it. Like, what do you think the solution is? Because we just talked about our left hand side being our most dangerous attacking threat with Ogbene and Doughty down the left. We've got to do something about the right hand side, because, as you said, Kabore looked like a walking red card. And Brown is giving us nothing in front of him, like absolutely nothing in front of him. So, I did want to touch on that in the podcast, and I don't know if you want to do it now, but would you, for the next game, considering how poor Kabore has been in the last couple of games, would you swap Doughty and Ogbene to the right and bring in Giles and someone else down the left?
I think if you do that, I think again you got the problem. Giles is not suspect defensively. Kabore is probably slightly better defensively. It was. And I said it was, Kabore. I thought it was a walking red card. He did come up with a couple of great tackles, and I think he's probably the best option we've got on that side at the moment. And he's probably a better option than putting Giles in and putting Doughty right back. You're then losing there. So
considering how, to me, you could put Ogbene on the right, which would cover Kabore a little bit. And I think they did it with Reece Burke the week before, and Ogbene kind of covered for him a little bit when he was out on that right hand side, like pace wise. Do you split up the Doughty Ogbene partnership?
Not at this stage, no.
I don't think so either.
I mean, the only thing I would say is maybe it's the questionable one decision. It was Ross Barkley played well when he came against Forest. He's a good player. He doesn't give you quite that same solidity that Paddy does.
Yeah,
and I think when you play,
that's honestly another thing that I wanted to talk to you about. Like, if we're going to play Barkley, we have to find a way of getting them into the side, right?
Yeah,
we have to, because we can't. We said it on this podcast, I want to say last week, that you can't play Barkley and Nakamba because you're leaving Nakamba too open. Now, if you go to considering how many defensive problems we have right now with injuries, if you go to a back four and a midfield five, I have no problem with Barkley being the middle of the midfield five with Pelly and Nakamba being either side of him. But I don't think he can be part of a four with just him and someone else in the center as of right now.
The problem is how you actually get how you get your attacking players like you wide players, so be it Brown or if you're going to play Elijah there or Benny on the other side, because there's not going to be some down there unless you're playing on Benny fullback, then trying to get them in to actually get some the likes of Doughty to get forward, which is a big part of our plan. And that's one of the Canberra Shields. That's the issue you've got. Personally, for the next game, I would play Elijah because I think it's he's great bringing on as a substitute, with the height and everything else. We'll get to that part in a second. But I think he also gives a bit of tricky. Brown, he's working hard, but it's not happening for him at the moment.
Yeah, see, and obviously the next game is against Liverpool. I don't see how you can start Brown in that game, because you need to be just like our threats come from our fullback and Doughty. Their threats come from their fullbacks. Robertson likes to get forward. Trent Alexander, if he plays right back, likes to get forward. So you've got to find a way of exploiting that. And I don't think Brown.
The best way to counteract if fullbacks want to get forward, get your fullbacks to get forward and occupy.
Exactly. And Kabore can do that. Or Kabore can get forward, but I don't think Brown gives them So the thing with Ogbene and Doughty is when they go down the left-hand side, you can see they're scaring people. When Kabori goes down the right, Brown just seems to want to move into the box or move in the central, and it doesn't give him anything. Where Ogbene and Doughty, like, one will scoot in, the other will go on the outside. And then you're like, well, shit, do I go Ogbene on the inside or do I go with Doughty's run? You know, and it causes problems. I agree with you. I think Elijah should start because Van Dijk hasn't looked like Van Dijk for the last probably, near a year. And Liverpool...
Van Dijk's a Liverpool defender, right? Because I do know fuck all about opposition players.
Van Dijk's a decent defender, yes. But like he hasn't been himself. He hasn't been the Van Dijk that Liverpool knew for a couple of years. He hasn't been that Van Dijk in the last year, at least since the beginning of last season. You know, he hasn't been it. And then defensively, they are a problem because I don't think any of the other centre halves, whether it be Gomez or whether it be Konate or whoever it may be, are fantastic. I don't think they're great defenders. So it definitely gives us a chance. Do you play Elijah and Carlton? Which I wouldn't be totally against because it would definitely give Van Dijk and whoever plays beside him a handful to deal with. But then I know what that does for us with Liverpool coming forward.
Yeah, I mean, with Elijah, I think if you play him, it's a tricky one because thinking, right, he's best going down the middle. Everybody knows that. So he does have that tricky out wide. So unless he's going to be kind of that roving role wide, pop into the middle whenever it goes down the left-hand side, that's the only way you can think about it. Unless, obviously, Kabori is going to come up and support.
And here's the thing, like, I don't know how fit he actually is, given the limited playing time he's had, but maybe they go with Townsend on the left, Ogbene on the right.
I don't think Townsend's ready to do 90 minutes.
I don't think so either, but, I mean, is it one of these things where you're better off starting them and tiring out the opposition, or are you better off bringing them on? And because with me, you bring them on, but when you bring them on, you could be 2-3 down, like we were against Villa. At which point, really, what's the point?
I mean, I think we were a goal down against Villa when he came on, but
Townsend, I think we were. We could have been 2. No, we were definitely 2 because they scored
2. Yeah, sorry, they scored that week after. I mean, just on the Villa goals, we're going to flip flop around all over the place here.
Yeah.
The first goal, McGinn. It was a clever free kick routine, but equally, it's you've got to be slightly disappointed. So yeah, everyone expects the ball into the box, rolled across McGinn, but then he actually chops past 3 players, throw themselves to expect the shot, and said, take them out and just place it in the bottom corner.
Yeah.
Bit disappointing on that one. I mean, obviously, we could have been behind earlier. Kaminsky with a great double save. And Kaminsky, I think, is actually now, stat-wise, came out earlier. I know you love these stats. He's actually the top-performing goalkeeper in terms of goals against versus goals expected. So we should have conceded 3 more, apparently.
I'd still like him to come and claim a cross every now and again.
That would be nice.
Shot stopping's not a problem. Like he seems decent enough. There's been 1 or 2 that's gone in that you kind of went, oh, you should have had that. But my main problem with this season is he seems in two minds. Like we talked about the first goal, nothing really much you could do about that. Like the defenders need to get out to him quicker, and they need to not just dive but actually close him down. The second goal, it's just like you're sitting there looking and you're kind of going, okay, you start to come, then you stop, and you just see him in no man's land when the ball comes across into the box. Now, again, no one's picking up the midfielder running in from the edge of the box. It's a problem.
And that's the problem. I mean, I think David James actually, he commented on Kaminsky and he said, right, so the keeper, you decide if you're going to come to it, can you get it? Can you avoid it? If not, you get back in position. So he had no issues with Kaminsky doing what he did there.
I think he could have got to it. I know what David James is saying. Like, if you don't think he can get to it, you go back onto your line. But I would have liked to hear David whether he thought he could have got to it, because I don't disagree with what he said. If you're coming,
he's an international goalkeeper. We're not.
It doesn't take a lot to be an England international goalkeeper, buddy.
Coming from an Irish fan,
Packy Bonner.
Was he actually Irish, or did you actually nick him from England?
Who cares? He played for Ireland.
That's true, yeah. Just checking,
Yeah.
is that kind of era? It was this kind of the sort of Jack Charlton, hey you thing.
Yeah,
Hey you, drinking Guinness? Yep, you must be Irish. Come in here.
pretty much. Hey, I would take that over what the Ireland team looks like right now. But either way, with Luton, it's as I said earlier, it was the first game where I didn't feel like we put up a fight, and I don't know why that was. I can't.
Well, if you look at Villa's home record, their home record has been absolutely fantastic over the last 13 games.
Mhm.
We were always going to be up against it there. So it's sometimes you have to hold your hands up and say, "Yep, fine, we got our down," but we did keep fighting. And obviously, I know they had a couple of those goals. They got a goal back for us, just to return the favour from Lockyer. But I mean, Lockyer didn't really sort of have much choice there.
No,
but I mean, their one. That's the first time I think a World Cup winner has scored a goal for us.
Yeah, right. That's gonna be on a table quiz some night. Just remember it. Name the World Cup winner who scored for Luton in the 3-1 win or 3-1 loss to Aston Villa.
And I've got to say, it was a fantastic finish as well. Loops the goalkeeper off the other side of the bar, no chance.
Again, it comes back to what you just said. Like Eli caused him problems. You know, the height and the strength. Morris is fantastic, and I don't think you can drop Morris. I really don't.
No, you can't drop Morris.
If you're going to play Eli against Liverpool, you got to find a way to try getting both of them in the side, and that's obviously why Rob Edwards has paid bigger bucks than either one of us.
And he doesn't mind on that one. So it's, but yeah, I mean, I think the Liverpool game. I think okay, again, you try and keep it tight early on. You're going to have some early pressure. Hopefully, they don't score or score too many, and then you can actually really push into it. And I think it's. There's just something I'm thinking we could get something. I don't know what it is. It's whether at home, whether a record of Liverpool against home has not been that bad. Okay, it's stretched over a few years, but I mean, I think last few games Liverpool, we had the 1-1 draw. Drew Talbot's got them forced an own goal in the cup. We had the 5-3, which everyone knows that's an unfair 5-3 because that last goal was everybody up attacking, and we could have scored from there. I think the previous one could have been 3-1 to us. Previous one was a 1-1. Previous one of that was about 3-1. Then Kenny Dalglish complaining about sort of, the plastic pitch, etc. So Liverpool, we're not a good ground for Liverpool.
Yeah, but every single game you mentioned there is how many decades ago at this point? At least nearly 2, right? FA Cup game was what, 2006?
5, I think.
5?
Yeah.
So it's Liverpool have gone through their own barren spell, with not winning titles until the recent one and whatnot. It's a completely different Liverpool team. I'm worried that it could get out of hand quick, because one thing that has popped up over the last couple of games is early goals in the second half. And I mean, honestly, we could be giving up early goals in the first half too, with the way we've been playing. We're not starting either half particularly well. I mean, you look at the Forest game, Chris Wood's goal right after halftime, Tottenham's goal right after halftime, Wolves' goal right after halftime, Villa scored right after halftime. I know I'm missing someone somewhere, but it's.
But in two of those games, we got a point.
Right, but if we start slow either half against Liverpool, they'll punish us. They'll make us pay. They will. But it's going to be interesting to see how Edwards lines out, because we've talked about Kabore being a bit of a liability defensively, and we know Liverpool like to get forward. So what do you do there? You have how many fit defenders right now? Giles, Doughty, Mengi, Lockyer.
Yeah.
Osho at a push.
Kabore.
So you got 6. Do you go with a back 5?
Not at home, I don't think. I think you go back to back 4.
I'm totally okay with that. Like, talking about teams for the Liverpool game, I would totally be okay if it was Doughty, Osho, Lockyer, Giles, and then in midfield go with Ogbene, Pelly, Barkley, Marvelous, and Townsend on the left, and put Morris up top. I'm totally okay with that. And then as the game progresses, bring Eli on, whether that's as a replacement for Morris or as a replacement for Pelly if you're chasing the game, and just go for it. Like, that would be the way I would start. But In saying that as well, I agree with a lot of what you said. Eli's been our best player the last couple of games, coming off the bench. So it's kind of one of these things where he's coming off the bench and he's doing well. Has he earned a start? Or he's coming off the bench and doing so well, we'll continue doing that.
It swings around, doesn't it? I mean, obviously, when he's come on, we've been chasing games. So it's can he cause a bit of havoc or not? Or will they get used to him? Or is it actually more useful as a game changer?
And right now, like, honestly, like, I just feel like Morris is the better player to start.
Well, yeah, we've established you don't drop Morris.
But one thing I do want to bring up. So most of our goals this season have come from set pieces or from crosses and balls into the box.
Yeah.
Take away that left hand side again, because Dowdy and Ogbene are fantastic. We're not like that's been the highlight of my season so far for Luton. There's nothing on that right hand side coming into the box. And again, I come back to it. Like, there's nothing. And that's why I said in the team that I picked, if you change Ogbene and Dowdy to that right-hand side, and then bring in Giles and Townsend on the left-hand side. Townsend's a decent crosser of the ball. He didn't look great the last couple of games, but he showed glimpses of what he can do. And Giles was signed. When he was signed, everyone talked like, I think even Edwards mentioned it in his interview. You know, great crosser of the ball. Haven't seen it yet, but if he's that good of a crosser of the ball, maybe getting. The only problem would be him and Townsend on the same side.
Yeah, you're basically going to get absolutely overloaded defensively that way.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you can do that, I'd almost rather start Giles as left winger.
Like a left wing back and play 5? Or the left winger in the midfield 5?
Left winger, midfield 5. Or even a 4-4-2, so him and Doughty sort of overloading down the left. They've got pace, they can both cross. That'd be an interesting one.
I'd be okay with that. And then Ogbene on the right-hand side to kind of cover for Kabore.
Yeah.
Not bad.
But if you're going to do that, you need sort of, you need a Cambo and Pelly sort of, in the middle. You need the anchor in there as well.
Yeah. And then Barkley can kind of roam free.
Or Barkley can come as a substitute, so obviously if he needs to change it. Keep it tight first of all, see how you're going, and then obviously expand it a bit more if you need. So you've got the players who are more defensive minded, which Barkley isn't.
To me as well, like I just don't want to be too defensive, because I honestly think if we get a Liverpool, that's our best chance of getting anything from the game. If we sit back, then I think they'll pick us apart. And
it's not so much sit back,
as you said, you seem to think we're going to get something. Like if we do get anything, I think that's going to be how we get it. And again, you saying that you think we're going to get something, I need to get that alcohol off you.
Well, look at this way. I think we've probably got more chance than we have against Man United the following week, and Man United are fucking shit.
I honestly do think that we have a better chance against United than we do against Liverpool. It Liverpool worries me just because it's Liverpool.
There's no point being worried. Basic. We're here. We know we're going to be underdogs every single game, and we're going to cause some upsets at some point. Why not Saturday?
Which reminds me of being
underdogs. Saturday. We're not playing Saturday. We're playing Sunday.
We're playing Sunday. But one of you mentioned there, we're underdogs, and we're going to be underdogs no matter what. The crowd chanting at the Villa fans, conference champions, you'll never sing that.
That was brilliant.
Was absolutely fucking hilarious. Because I'm sure the Aston Villa fans are sitting there going, how do we answer that? Because on the one hand, we probably won't ever get to sing it. And on the other hand, thank fuck we won't ever get to sing it.
Well, I've seen a couple of comments. I mean, I think a lot of Villa fans were quite complimentary. There was some who were probably trolling a bit. So probably the Villa equipment review, he goes, well, Luton fans, yes, they bought a lot, but it's their only chance to see us play at Villa Park. Incorrect. We have played there before quite a few times. And said, they had nothing original songs, and they're talking about Watford, a team in another county. Right, so you've contradicted yourself. So straight away, that's an original song, because it's nobody else is going to have to sing songs to them, are they?
No other team in the Premier League is going to sing about being conference champions.
But he actually got better than that. He then said, our fans were quiet because we played Thursday, and we had our minds on other things. I said, hang on, are you really trying to piss off the entire Villa fan base here? So you're saying you were quiet because the fans were tired after a game on Thursday? Seriously?
That's a first. The players I can understand. The fans, not so much.
No, I just looked. I thought, oh my god, this is a guy who actually hasn't looked what he's typed here.
Yeah, it's. I don't dislike Villa. You know, it's
I've got time for Villa. So.
yeah, they're one of them teams where you just kind of like I sit there and like they've obviously got was a European Conference League, whatever the hell it's called these days, football this season. Honestly, like I'd love it if they went and won it. You know, like I like Unai Emery as a manager. We're not in the competition, so there's no loyalties. I'd be totally okay if Villa went and did. I'd be totally okay if Villa broke the top 4, as long as they didn't take points off. Which we'd already have. You know, I would be totally okay with that. You know, I don't dislike Villa in any way, shape, or form. I dislike Liverpool. I would be more than happy to take points from Liverpool. And I'd be more than happy to take points from United for completely different reasons, but I'd be more than happy. Like there's certain teams that you could just kind of look at and go, I don't expect to get anything, but Jesus, if we get something, I'm going to be unbearable.
And again, the Liverpool one, because they'll be expecting to win. Their fans will certainly be expecting to win, and it's we've got a good record against Scout sides this season.
Yeah, I mean our record's not great in total this season, but again, as long as we fight, as long as we show fight, and again, that was probably the biggest disappointment for me was the lack of fight against Villa. Like we showed glimpses of it here or there.
I don't think there's a lack of fight at all. It's in there. I think it was more a case of sort of they did have the movement, and it's basically there was enough fight in there. I mean, I said look at the previous results. They've scored 6 against Brighton, mentioned earlier. Brighton are a very, very good side.
No, but we played Brighton and we lost 4-1. But the one thing we talked about after the Brighton game was they got 2 kind of late consolation goals, and we were always in the game and we always looked like we were willing to fight. I just didn't see that against Villa, Nick. I just didn't. It was like the players were just kind of like, okay. And I don't know if that had something to do with like injuries, because now you're looking at a Gabe Osho who's only played 60 minutes in the reserve team football, playing centre half with Lockyer and Mengi. Mengi has glimpses, but also has glimpses of you could cause us problems.
I think basic with the video. I don't think it's lack of fight. I think sometimes you just have to hold your hands up and say, yes, we played a good team.
But we played against good teams, but we still shown fight. Like the Chelsea game. Chelsea game is a perfect example. Like Chelsea are awful, but they played well against us. And we came up against a better team, but we still showed fight. Even though the scoreline said 3-0 on it and may have looked bad. Like me and you both talked after that game, like we caused them problems in the first 20 minutes of the second half.
We did. Then I looked at Chelsea for the rest of the season and I'm thinking, fuck it, it's a missed opportunity.
I don't think I can't remember us ever causing Villa a sustained problem.
No, there were kind of little glimpses we could have done, but the final ball wasn't there. But yeah, I reckon I said Sunday, I'm going to say 1-1.
5-0 Liverpool.
I reckon I'm going to be closer.
Whoever's closer, and I don't know how we measure this, boys, you're the one a tray of beer. So I will PayPal you money for a tray of beer. If you get a 1-1 scoreline, I will PayPal you money for a tray of beer.
You do realise actually now the way you've done this is basically because I've said 1-1, so goal difference 0. You said 5-0, goal difference of 5. So basically, anything less than 3 goal difference.
Okay, well then I'll be more realistic. 3-0.
Oh no! Don't change it now.
But yeah, I maybe I was talking about being positive earlier on. Maybe this is the negative side of me coming out, but I don't see it. I'm like, and I've got a lot of Liverpool friends who I know will be, who I haven't heard from in years, by the way, will be more than happy to hit me up on Sunday, depending on that result. But I should also, if they're out of prison, no, yeah, they're all Irish.
Okay, that doesn't make any difference, surely.
They're all from the Republic of Ireland. That doesn't make it any better. But yeah, like I'll be the first to say if we get a result, I'll be the first one to hit them up. But After the Villa performance, if we turn up like that again against Liverpool, I think it's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah, we shall see. But and discuss it probably in a couple of weeks' time anyway.
Next week? Is there a game next Tuesday? Are you allowed to record next Tuesday?
No, I'm on holiday.
You're on holiday next Tuesday?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Gonna have to get Alex back on?
Yeah, you can speak to him.
I do want to, before we end this podcast, I do want to say there was a Kevin Moore who sent us a message or put a comment on the podcast. And me and Nick always talk about the fact that no one listens to this. So Kevin, if you're listening to this, shoot us an email. It's lutontownamerica@gmail.com. Shoot us an email because we would love to talk to you and find out a bit more about how this actually came to happen. Because we weren't aware that anyone listens. We don't even listen.
God knows. Was enough. Anyway, right. Okay, we'll see. So, right, on to Liverpool, and then I think you've got some other minor team in red after that. We'll see what happens. So, until next time.
Enjoy your vacation.